You've just got a brand new GoPro camera and you're wondering which GoPro mounts do you need, which ones are completely useless, and which ones genuinely enhance the shooting experience with your GoPro camera. Stay tuned to find out. The first thing that I recommend anybody with a GoPro gets is a case. Now, this doesn't have to be a fancy, expensive GoPro case. It can be something as simple as a couple of Ziploc bags tucked into a little box to keep all their stuff together. And the only reason I recommend this is because there's a lot of small bits and parts that come with any GoPro camera. You've got bolts, you've got extension bars. You don't need all of them at the same time, but sometimes when you're out on shoots, you want to be able to set up with them. So you do need to take them all with you most of the time, but it's a lot of little bits and things, and they like to wander away. So I recommend that anybody with a new GoPro camera finds a way to keep all of their parts contained. I've got a couple of videos down in the video description to some DIY ways of doing this. I used to use a toolbox. I've used a small parts organizer. I've used some cases. So there's tons of different options, but you should find some way to keep all of your little bits and parts organized. Up next is a tripod mount. Now, the tripod mount can be got for a couple of bucks on Amazon. If you want to buy the GoPro one, it's $20, but that's because it comes with a bunch of other accessories you don't really need. The $7 or the $3 tripod mount is a must. Now, the reason I say this is because most people who are going to be getting a GoPro already have a tripod in the house, and that tripod mount allows them to take advantage of a pre-existing mount. So really, you get advantage of this full-size tripod for cheap. And the nice thing with the tripods is that it's a nice stationary shot, and it's a wide angle stationary shot, which is nice to be able to cut to. So if you're in a skate park, you're going to want to be able to get some action shots from a person mount. You might get a wheel mount. You might mount the camera on the side of the skateboard. And then it's really nice to be able to cut to a wide angle shot of the whole park to kind of set the location, let people know where the action is actually going on. So being able to get that, and for a $3 tripod mount to be able to get that with a pre-existing tripod you've got in your family, it's a really great way to go. Up next, it's a little bit more expensive. It's a spare battery. The GoPro have, well, for how big they are, I guess it's not horrible, but definitely not great battery life. You can check out a full link in the video description to a battery buyer's guide with all the different battery brands listed and their recording times. That's all tested by me. That's down there, but you might want to look at getting one. You can get a GoPro one, you can get aftermarket ones. They are something to look at getting because the GoPro battery life isn't that great. And if you want to go out skiing for a day, you're going to need at least 2 batteries to make it through the full day of skiing, maybe even more. Those are the mounts and the accessories that I think every single person with a GoPro camera should have. Now we're getting into some of the mounts which are kind of more activity specific. So not everybody's going to need these, but they are still really useful mounts. And if there's something which you think you're going to use, they do open up a new range of possibilities, and they do create new angles which aren't otherwise possible. The first is the chest mount. I love the GoPro chest mount. For things like skiing and biking, it creates one of the best shots for these sports. The nice thing with it skiing is it really frames the shot with your hands and your knees in the shot instead of something like the head mount where you do get the illusion of floating. It's also great for biking. You get your arms, it shoots up underneath your arms and out to the handlebars, which is a really great shot. Side mounting for biking is also a pretty good way to go. Then there's a GoPro Pole. Not everybody needs one of these, but they are really versatile. You can use them as a selfie stick to shoot some great selfie shots. You can hold them up while skiing and snowboarding and get some really cool footage. We've all seen that stuff. But what few people know is that they're also really useful for getting chase footage. It's amazing how stable you can get when chasing someone with a GoPro Pole. You hang it out there and your body's able to get it fairly stable, and it's really easy to keep them frame your shot because the GoPro angles is so wide. You just point it at them and follow them and you'll get some really nice chase footage. So I definitely would recommend looking at a GoPro Pole. It doesn't have to be the GoPro 3-way. There's lots of cheaper options out there. You can even just get a GoPro handlebar mount and mount it to a ski pole. This is actually a really great way to go, especially for skiing, because you don't have to take extra stuff with you. You can just take that handlebar mount, throw it onto the pole when you need it, and plus the handlebar mount actually makes a pretty good hand grip when not being used as a handlebar mount. If surfing is your thing, there's 2 accessories you should definitely get. The dummy mount, the mouth mount for the GoPro camera. It seems silly, but the footage you get with it is really impressive, and for surfing, I think it's a must. as well as a floating hand grip. These things are great, and if you look at GoPro's photos of the day, anything with surfing is either normally taken with one of those two mounts, so definitely look into those two. And finally, if you're going to be driving or mounting onto boats, anything with smooth surfaces, the suction cup mount is invaluable. For car mounting, it's basically a must. It's one of the few things that many people are even going to let you stick on their cars because it's non-abrasive. It doesn't really seem to wreck anything when you do it. The magnetic mounts, which are out there, are good as well, but it's always a little bit more scary sticking those onto cars and scratching them. So I really would definitely check out the suction cup mount if you're going to be mounting onto cars, vehicles, or boats, because the fiberglass on the side of the car are very similar in styling. So if you want one of those, it gives you a really nice fixed mount and you can get some really awesome footage with it. Those are really the mounts which make up the core of what I would shoot with. These are the things that I'm going to take with me whenever I go shooting for those different activities, the things that I'm not going to leave home without. There's tons and tons of other GoPro accessories. If you're going to be shooting time lapses, you should look at making a DIY rotating time-lapse base with an IKEA egg timer. You can check that out in the video description. It's super easy to do and it does add to your shots. It creates a really neat shot. But with those ones that I've pointed out, that's the core of what I would get. There's tons of others. If you think I missed it, leave it down in the comments below. By no means is it a complete list of everything that you're going to end up getting for your GoPro camera, but these are the core essentials that I would get started with. If you're looking for something just awesome, you should check out a 3-axis gimbal. They are quite expensive. You could basically buy another camera for their cost, but they do really change what you can do with your camera. They're basically a stabilizer, kind of like what's on every drone out there right now, and they stabilize the GoPro camera and allow you to wave your arm wherever you want and it'll keep your footage perfectly stable. They're absolutely incredible, and they are something which, if you're going to be doing a lot of freehand shooting with your GoPro camera or chase cam footage with your GoPro camera, there are something you should definitely check out. Guys, until next time, this was the core accessories, the must-have accessories for the new GoPro Owner. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you think I missed anything on this list, and check me over out on Instagram, Kyle Martin Tech, if you want to see some behind the scenes action, as well as some 15-second project videos. Until next time, guys, thank you very, very much for watching.